Let's call to order the Bucksport Town Council meeting for Thursday, December 14th, 2023. Meetings in person. If you have questions or comments, you can email ssart@bucksportmaine.gov or call 469-7368. Roll call.
Councillor Eastman.
Here.
Councillor Garvin.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bissonnette.
Here.
Mayor Stewart.
Here.
Councillor Ormsby.
Here.
Councillor Bishop.
Here.
Councillor Rankin.
Here. We're going to move item 3 down the program a little bit for a second. Item 4 is consider minutes. We have town council minutes for 11/9/2023. How would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Item 5 is receive and review correspondence. We have Orland Police Call, 2 Verona Police Calls, and a Down East Transportation and Ridership Report from October of 2023. Questions? Item 6 is ordinances to consider or introduce. We have none. 7 is discussion items. We have an infrastructure committee update from 12/14/2023. Mark, you want to take that, or?
Sure.
Yeah, Paul?
Basically, Mark Eastman has a request for his property on Central Street. There's a small portion in the northern corner of that after a survey appears to be town-owned and not part of his property. Basically, what he'd like the council to consider is shifting ownership of that to him. In consideration, we'll take a look at an easement for a sidewalk along Central Street as part of the process that we will be looking at in the spring.
And you had a recommendation from the committee to go forward?
To go forward with that and have that be on next month's agenda, the first meeting in January.
Very good. Questions? Item 8 is agenda items. The first is resolve 2024-27 to approve repairs to the Bucksport Performing Arts Center in the amount of $25,602.85.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any questions? This is what we went over the last meeting, and I think we were all in agreement that that needed to be done. All those in favor? Opposed? Passes. Next is resolve 2024-28 to approve the use of fire department reserve for firefighting gear in the amount of $14,375.
Motion to approve. Second.
Mike, there's quite a discrepancy in prices there. Was that kind of shocking to you, or?
No. Do you want me to?
Yeah, please. I'm just making sure that you're getting what you need for that price compared to what the other stuff was.
I had a lot of questions on that, and I
Yep.
called him, and if you would just.
Yeah, and good questions. The gear is Viking. Before, we were using Veridian. What has happened, getting the gear in a timely fashion is ridiculous. The last set that we had ordered was almost a year, and we still didn't get it. We canceled the order. This vendor we're using was selling Veridian gear that now went to Viking. So we're getting a 10 to 12 week period to get it now. So it's interesting talking to him. 90% of the fabric that goes into firefighting gear comes from the same place. So
Regardless of
you can
who's
see
selling it?
regardless, so you can see
Yep.
the different prices.
Right.
So
Okay.
I can tell you just off the top of my head, I had asked him who else is using this gear. Miami, Florida uses it, Boston Fire, and there's probably a dozen departments in Maine
Yep.
using it as well.
I just wanted to make sure with such
Absolutely.
discrepancy that you
Yep.
weren't just going to be sucked into low price, that you're comfortable
This
with what you
meets
got.
NFPA,
Yep.
and it's good gear,
Okay.
so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Same question you sort of had too, or?
Yeah, I was worried about the harness, to be honest with you. I was thinking for that kind of money, the price difference. I know that when I was doing it, they were just coming out with the new harnesses, and I was just wondering if they were the same, but NFPA now has them in the same place.
Okay.
And it's all the same throughout, so that was my concern.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? 9 is resignations, appointments, assignments, and elections. We have none. Item 10 is approval of quitclaims, discharges, and deeds. Have none. Item 11 is the town manager report and department head reports.
I've given you a written report, I'll get to in just a moment, but I have another item, that we discussed, several meetings ago, which was a request on the part of the owner of, or the attorney for the owner of the Spring Fountain, for us to remove the lien that the town has on that property for the costs of legal fees associated with the, cost of placing the dangerous building order and, our additional legal fees in the matter up to a date certain. And that lien was originally placed, because there was going to be a sale, and the buyer wanted all the costs potentially associated with the property to be reflected. And we did that, and that sale did not go through, and we placed the lien anyway. And the property owner's attorney has requested that the town remove that lien because, according to the law, it can't be placed until we actually prevail in the case, if that is what happens, and has requested the town remove the lien, is willing to sign a legal agreement that acknowledges the town's right to place that lien following a court decision for those costs, and that failure of the town to do that will result in the third lawsuit that we're facing on this property. We currently have two, one in federal court and then one in Ellsworth. I'm recommending to the council that you do allow me to release this lien, however, that it be done with the understanding that the legal agreement that retains the town's right to place the lien following settlement of in our favor. This is a court case, as in all. I don't need a resolve and I don't need votes. I need direction. But I asked for it a few months ago. The things that have changed is the idea of another lawsuit, and the fact that in this case, for this particular item, that we wouldn't prevail because we've placed the lien before it's done.
I'm okay with that.
And that's the advice of the town attorney,
That is the advice of the town attorney.
and you're confident.
Any objections to? Okay, we'll move forward with that. The other one, which is my annual report to the council that I do, that sort of says, this is what we did this calendar year, and it takes our goals and objectives and lists those, and then whatever progress we did or didn't make, and then goes on to talk about the work of the council, because everything in here except a very small bit at the end are all items that the council has dealt with through ordinance work, through its meeting process. And I personally was tired when I got done writing it. I think that it certainly indicates that we had what I say every year, which is a very busy year. This will be put on our town website. They will put it up, but you lose track of how much work gets done here until you start to sit down and look at what has or hasn't happened, and how many events have you permitted, and how many contracts have you signed for the town, and how many changes have you made to the rules for zoning or policies and those kind of things. It was a major piece of work to change scheduling for fire EMS and do that whole structure. That happened this year. So anyways, as I said, I won't read every word, but it will be on the website. You have it. If you have any questions, I think that certainly the council should be proud of itself for the work that it's done this year, and the fact that the policies you've set and the things that you've approved have been carried out very well by all the people that work for you. For me, I only work for you, everybody else works for me, but they've all done a really good job in, making this bus go. So, anyway, this is the one you get annually that reviews kind of what our agendas were, what all that kind of stuff was, so. I will post it so the town can also
Thank you.
see it.
Any questions? Rich, was this something you were gonna show us during this, or is this
After,
after?
yes, when we go back to item number 3.
Oh, okay. Next is public hearings and permits. We have a public hearing and a permit. Let's do the permit first, the Frost Fest Festival permit. Say that 3 times real fast. The council like to proceed on that?
Motion approved.
Second.
Any questions?
This is up by the practice,
Yep.
football practice field behind the medical
Yep.
center.
Yep. It looks like they had a pretty good plan. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty fun time up there, so.
We made a good presentation to
Economic.
economic
Yep.
development.
Yep. Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Passes. Next is public hearing on planning board member stipend increase. Open the public hearing. This is a budget item that we talked about during the budget process. We don't have to go through a charter change because we are allowed to do this as a matter of business, correct?
If this is just a part of the town code as opposed to a part of the town charter.
Right. And as Counselor Eastman graciously made sure that we put the planning board on this, we also put in the, put on the raises for the town council members, so. It's very nominal. Folks don't do this for the money, obviously, but I think for the time and the effort that does go into this, it's certainly worth the extra couple bucks that have been asked for us by them, so. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. Close the public hearing. Take a motion in a second.
Motion approved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Item 13 is discussion items not on the agenda for the council and the public. Anybody in the public have anything?
Oh, why not?
Right.
Can we do this to you one more time?
Right?
So first off, thank you for allowing us to host the 8th annual Holiday Lights Parade and Fireworks. It's great to see the community spirit for one day a year. Democrats and Republicans all get along, so thank you for allowing us to do this. We're all one, we're all Bucksport, so thank you. Secondly, I've got some good news that I think is good news. Sue thinks it's good news, but we have been approved by MDOT for the last remaining 2 walls through an MPI. As soon as I have a signed contract, the engineer will get on that. And so that everyone is aware, it is the Buck Memorial Cemetery wall and the wall directly across from it. The goal is to have it started and completed prior to Memorial Day, because anything after that is gonna be a headache.
Right.
I'll make sure that the RSU is aware because of busing. I know busing in the morning will be an issue that time of year, but I think it's more of a headache if we're going Memorial Day later.
Very nice.
And other than that, Mayor Stewart, thank you for your service.
Hey, Rich, real quick, just, I'm sure most of the people in this room were at that parade and the festivities. You, Chris, and everybody else that was involved, that did a great job. That was
awesome.
Agreed.
without a doubt, that was one of the, regardless of the size of the town or wherever you were, I would put that up against anybody's Festival of Lights parade that they had, so nice job for that.
Thank you. And the fire, police,
Yeah.
and public works were incredible, and without them, this does not happen.
Right.
So thank
Yeah.
you to all of you as
Yeah.
well. Thank
No,
you.
guys,
for helping
that
us.
was awesome. Very well done. Anybody else from the public? Anybody from the council? Public hearings, committee assignments, going forward, folks, whoever is sitting in this chair and going forward, you'll have committees that you'll have to either reassign or, I would suggest in your first meeting when you guys come back in January that you get that together. Luckily in the past, it's been pretty benign. Everybody's kind of stayed in those same committee meetings as committees that they've been on, so. But that will be something you have to set up. I don't believe you probably have any committee assignments for that next meeting right now anyway, right?
Generally speaking, we ask counselors to express their interest figure out what they're interested in, and then when a mayor is elected at the first
Yep.
meeting, they turn those interests in and the mayor assigns the committees. That's why your rules work.
Yep. All right, we'll pop back up to item 3.
Okay. This is 2 parts. There's my part and Rich's part. And there's cake in the hall, which
I love cake.
is why we moved this to the end of it, so that people could actually have cake or cupcake and chat for a minute.
Just so you know, I'm missing the shortest meeting of all time by going through this here.
You wanna end it now?
We're done.
Well, I'm sorry that that's not the way it's gonna go, but
Due to circumstances beyond your control.
Right.
they're under control. You can gavel me, but it probably won't work. So, on behalf of the Bucksport Town Council and the employees of the town of Bucksport, I'd like to take a few minutes to thank Mayor Peter Stewart for not only his 9 years of service on the Bucksport Town Council, but also for the many other contributions he has made and continues to make to the town of Bucksport and its youth. As a native son of this area, Peter has spent much of his adulthood in some way serving the community of Bucksport, whether it be by coaching youth sports, refereeing sporting events, serving on the school board, town committees, or as a town councilor and mayor. It is fair to say that Peter bleeds purple and gold. Peter is the last remaining councilor that was in office when I came to Bucksport in 2015. He stepped up to run, to help, in 2014, when Bucksport was facing one of the most enormous hurdles in its history, the closure of the paper mill. And to further complicate things, the town had also been experiencing administrative leadership difficulties following the retirement of longtime manager Roger Raymond. The council had major work to do in many areas, and it needed elected officials who were not afraid to tackle the challenges of moving from a town with a mill to something else. Peter was perfect for the job, because I really don't think Peter is afraid of much. He isn't shy when sharing his opinions, but he has always kept what is best for Bucksport front and center when making decisions at the council level. He asks hard questions and expects answers, and will play the devil's advocate just to make sure that the council is considering all options that are available to it. He consistently has done what he feels to be right, even when that is not the easy path. He has been a fine representative for his community, fair and supportive of town staff, and mindful of managing the town's money. Bucksport is fortunate to have him, and his presence on the council will be missed.
Thanks, Sue. Oh, no, sit back. I don't think so.
And Rich has a little slideshow for you.
Oh, this is all goes together, right?
Just the box, the book box with your
Thank you.
service years and.
Thank you.
So we've done a lot of projects together. We're about 12, and those are significant. The industrial park filling up is significant. But one thing that we can all agree on is that Rich was wrong, and that Wilson Hall was right, and the town council did a fantastic job. $65,000 was sent over to Mr. Wall to rehab a building, when the other option was to have it rubble and probably to this day still be a field. What I'd like to show you, since this happened prior to COVID, during COVID, is what's happened after COVID, and what a $65,000 investment that the town council made, and yourself being one of the last members of that council. I know Dan and Paul were on after, during that as well. It was their first vote, but if my memory serves me right, It was you three, and I think Mr. Goffin may have been there as well, so.
Mark.
All right, so the numbers are getting way down, so thank you all. I created this, again, for me, I think this is the biggest, impact, so, just a little left pretense on it, $79,000 was the value of that building and property, and today the value in the property is well over $600,000, and that's not on 100%, because the building is not 100% complete yet. And that 5-year forgivable loan ends February of 2024, and I know you'll be sad to not be here on that. So, without further ado, I'm going to shut up, and here is for you. If I can make it work. There you go.
Very
That is
nice.
Wilson Hall today. 3 occupancy permits have been filled out. Larry has 3 people living there, and it's that $65,000 turned into over $1 million in investment so far, and is continuing to grow. A lot. I will say that he hired a lot of local folks to do the work. We're high school graduates from Bucksport, class of 2021, plumbing and heating. So, thank you to
Very
yourself
nice.
and to this council.
Very nice, thank you. I'm gonna steal a minute or two, if that's okay. I'm
Yes, that-
just gonna steal a minute. I know Sean wants to get out of here, and he doesn't wanna hear me talk, just like I don't wanna hear him talk. Just a couple thank yous, to the councilors, past and present. It certainly, as we've talked in the past, it certainly is not as easy as it looks up here at times, being up here for 15 minutes. To do this job and to do this job right, takes a lot of time. You have to ask questions, make sure that you're informed. Don't just take you think is the right answer. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I will say without a doubt, I think this council that sits here today is one of the most engaged, informed councils that I've been here since I've been here. And I appreciate what all you do. Please continue that. It is truly an honor to watch everybody step up and serve. Like Sue said, it takes a while to get used to it, but once you get up here, it is pretty satisfying. So continue doing the good work that you're doing. I appreciate the folks for the town, all the folks that do the work. A lot of it goes unseen by folks. It is truly amazing what gets done in this town of this size. We look at the parades and look at all those things. I compare this town daily to any town in the state. We are fortunate to be where we're at, and it truly comes down to Sue and the team that she has and everybody that works for the town. You guys are all amazing. I appreciate what you do every day, and please continue to do what you do. And finally, to the citizens of Bucksport, you know, in 2014 when the mill shut down, there was an opportunity for us to do nothing. People said we can turn into Millinocket and just kind of do nothing. The number of folks that just stepped up and took what needed to get done and just did it volunteer work. I'll admit I was close to being with folks on this to shut this Wilson Hall thing down. People had a vision and they saw what they could do, and that's what I see a lot happen in Bucksport. People have visions and they go through with it and they get it done. So to the citizens of Bucksport, keep doing what you're doing. You know, it truly makes our job easier, gives us direction, and makes sure that we're doing what you want to do. So it has been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Passed.